ရှုံးအီဂျွန်နေစီကတဲ့ချတဲ့ဖုန်ရရှတဲ့အိုနေရှတဲ့ကြောနေချင်းတီလူရှိဟလာမနကူဒါဘီနောနာတဲ့အထာဖတ်ချဖုန်ကမော်နေရှတဲ့ And yeah, I hope you guys have had a good week so far, and school is just right around the corner, so I wish you guys best of luck going back to school, getting in that grind again and fulfilling God's purpose. And so just one little thing I want to tell you guys is, yes, even though school is on your minds a lot of studying is going to go on, and you're not really going to have time to do much anything else, but I pray that you guys keep God first, and so with Him first, He will be able to bless you beyond measure. So with today's Sunday school lesson, we will be following up with the Israelites when they are still wandering the desert for 40 years before going into the Promised Land. They have defeated these people called the Amorites, and with the defeat of the Amorites, the Israelites' name was very popular, or I guess was spreading throughout like all the nations of the people right there, and so they were a nation to be feared. But then the reason why they were able to accomplish that much was because of God and His faithfulness. And so today's message will be about God's faithfulness to bless His people. And so we shall be in Numbers chapter 23, verse 19 through 23, and Numbers chapter 24, verse 5 through 9, and Numbers chapter 24, verse 17 through 19. And so I will read it again, so please follow along.
God is not a man that He should lie, nor a son of man that He should repent. He has said, and He will not do it, or has He spoken, and He will not make it good. Behold, I have received a command to bless. When He has blessed, then I cannot revoke it. He has not observed misfortune in Jacob, nor has He seen the trouble of Israel. The Lord his God is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. God brings them out of Egypt. He is for them like horns of a wild ox. For there is no omen against Jacob, nor is there any divination against Israel. At the proper time it shall be said to Jacob and Israel what God has done. How fair are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel, like valleys that stretch out like gardens beside the river, like aloes planted by the Lord, like cedars beside the waters. Water will flow from its buckets, and his seed will be many waters, and his king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God brings him out of Egypt. For him, like the horns of the wild ox, he will devour the nations who are his adversaries, and will crush their bones in pieces, and shatter them with his arrows. His couches he lies down as a lion, and as a lion who dares rouse him. Blessed is everyone who blesses you, and curse everyone who curses you. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come forth from Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and crush the forehead of Moab, and tear down the sons of Sheth. Edom shall be a possession. Seir, his enemies, will also be a possession, while Israel performs valiantly. One from Jacob shall have dominion, and destroy the remnant from the city.
Alright, so amen to those scriptures that we've just read. And so, you can say a little backstory before we get into I guess this nitty-gritty part is, like I said in the beginning, the people of Israel they defeated the Amorites, and they were very, you could say they were a very powerful group, and yet they were able to overcome them. And so their name spread throughout the lands, and it came to the nation of Moab. And so when Moab, the nation, heard about the Israelites' victory over the Amorites, they were very afraid of that. And so the king of Moab, in this case, his name was Balak, when he found out about that, he was very afraid, and so he reached out to a guy named Balaam to curse the Israelites. And while you could say receiving that that command from King Balak to curse the Israelites, God came to Balaam, and he told him instead of cursing the Israelites, he will bless the Israelites. And so we find out in one of the first passages that I read, Balaam told Balak that he cannot curse the Israelites because what God has blessed, no one can revoke it. Now with the actual getting into the scriptures itself, it all talks about how Balaam was talking to Balak saying, you might think it's because of the Israelites and their power that got him this far, but really the one who got him that far is God. And so he is the reason why the Israelites have so much power over everything, even over like Balaam's curse. It was, Balaam could have just cursed the Israelites, but God specifically commanded Balaam to bless the Israelites instead. And so that was how much power that God had in order to make the Israelites prosper. I mean, think about it. In the second, you could say Numbers chapter 24, verse 5 through 9, it talks about how even the tents of the people of yeah, the Israelites in the desert. Their tents were magnificent already, and so it talks a lot about how God has blessed the Israelites in even despite their wandering in the desert, and they're prospering to conquer nations or to just thrive out in the wilderness. Another aspect of diving into the scriptures we've just read is God mentioning or promising actually the Israelite people, specifically Abraham, when he was about to leave off in that journey that which God was going to show him. God specifically promised him, saying that he will bless those who bless you and will curse those who curse you. And in this case, guess who cursed him? Or I guess the Israelites. Yeah. And so, it wasn't Balaam that was going to curse them, but it was Balak that was going to curse them. And so, for that one, he had blessed Balaam, but then, like, again with the curse, like Balak wanted to curse them, and so that was already an offense to God, and God had to keep his promise to the Israelites as well. So to curse those who curse you. And so as we read on again in the scriptures that were mentioned, we find out that God foretold it, saying, "Oh, he spoke through Balaam in this case, and he said that a star from Jacob and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and with those two, they will it'll be the descendant that comes from Jacob will bring an end to the people of the Moabites." And so that was the foreshadowing of actually King David to come and destroy the Moabites. And so that was God's, you could say, his curse to King Balak for actually cursing the Israelite people. So as we've just heard, God had foretold the destruction of the Moabites through King David. But yet, from the time that God spoke that to King Balak, and from the time that David will actually conquer the Moabites, it will take a very long time in order for that to occur. But yet, God had still promised it, and He will still fulfill it in the end. Just like how, like I told you, a star shall rise out of Jacob and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. He also predicted Jesus Christ. That was a scepter of Israel. And so, as we know also, Jesus did come from the line of David as well, but then it will take like centuries before Jesus even walked this earth as well. And so, even though it took a long time for God to actually fulfill that promise, He was still going to fulfill His promise no matter what. I mean, think about it. Even when Jesus was born, he was a carpenter majority of his life, and so that's working with wood. And so from him, he started his ministry when he was 30 years old. And so, as you guys know, from 0 to 30 years old is a very, very long time. And if Jesus could have done his work maybe as a teenager or in his 20s, he would have gotten a lot done. But yet God had a promise. He had a purpose to fulfill through Jesus as well. And so that was a perfect timing on God's part. And so even though God's maybe purpose in this case did not come like instantaneously, He still had a perfect time for it, and he promised it, and so He will fulfill it in the end. No matter how long it takes, He will fulfill it. With all that said, how does this apply to us? Well, like I said, God has promised us all the Israelite things, but yet it took Him a while in order to fulfill His promise. But yet, the most important thing is God actually keeping His promise to the Israelite people. And so with us, He has promised us a lot of things. If I were to say it all, it would take me too long for this video, and so I'll just give you guys an example. In Jeremiah 29:11, which that is the verse like we all know, it is, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans of welfare and not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope." And so that is a promise that God gave to you. But yet when people think about this verse, they think very good stuff. It's like, oh, the goods only, but not the bad. But yet sometimes the bad is what's going to, I guess, help you the most. Because also in Romans 8:28, it says, "For God works good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." With that one, even like God causes everything to work for your good. I mean, that might be discipline as well. And of course, majority of the time, we do not like discipline, but yet sometimes God uses that in our lives so that we may increase in faith. And so that is the same thing with Jeremiah 29:11, like to give you a future and a hope, even though no matter how much pain you go through right now, he still assures you that everything that you are going through right now is for your good, and that it will strengthen you for the future, and it will give you more hope through that. And so that was my message for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this encouraged you to further your walk with God, and also a little bit of insight and wisdom to help you in your daily lives. And so also, you guys are, majority of you guys are going back to school. So again, I wish you guys good luck, and you guys got this, and you guys can do it like this message says. Like God is faithful to you for your future and to give you hope as well. And so he is faithful to give you a life and a future and a hope. He will also be faithful to get you through high school or college or whatever you're going through as well. And so may God bless you with that. And so I will see you guys next week. And so I thank you. May God bless you. All right. Bye-bye.